the speciality of 9th August.
79 years ago, in March 1942, Sir Stafford Cripps came to India to discuss the British government's draft declaration to grant India dominion status after the Second World War. The Congress Working Committee rejected the draft. Thus, the failure of the Cripps mission further estranged the Congress and the British government. Gandhiji seized upon the failure and called for a voluntary British withdrawal from India. On 7 to 8 August 1942, the All India Congress Committee met in Bombay and the Quit India resolution was unanimously passed at that historic meeting. The father of the nation exhorted the young and the old and the rich and the poor to do or die for the freedom of the country. He gave a fiery speech at Mumbai's Gowalia Tank Maidan, marking the beginning of the non-violent mass movement. He said, "There is a mantra, a short one that I give you. You imprint it in your heart and let every breath of yours give an expression to it. The mantra is do or die. We shall either be free or die in the attempt." The next day, on August 9, 1942, the Kranti had just begun. They were out on the streets demanding that the British should leave India immediately. Gandhiji and most of the leaders were arrested. This arrest led to mass demonstrations throughout India. Thousands were killed and strikes were called in many places. The British swiftly suppressed these demonstrations and more than 1 lakh people were imprisoned. At last, Gandhiji was released in 1944. Still, he continued his resistance and went on a 21-day fast. The Quit India movement shook the very root of imperialistic rule in the country and ultimately led to the realization of much cherished dream of millions of united Indians, a free India. Thus, on this day, with pride and gratitude, we recall the sacrifices of all the freedom fighters who put the freedom of the nation above their lives and pay respectful tribute to the memory of those patriots. Nagasaki. Exactly 79 years ago and 3 days after Hiroshima was razed to the ground with a terrible nuclear bomb, the port city of Nagasaki met with a similar fate. The pain, the suffering, the destruction and the death of more than 80,000 people will forever remain etched in human memory. The tragedy should remind us all to be more compassionate, just and affectionate and wise to make human life better and peaceful in this world. We must ensure that there are no other Hiroshimas and Nagasakis never again in this world. Today is also the day of the Adivasis, the original inhabitants of the land. The effects of COVID-19 pandemic are worsening these challenges faced by indigenous communities. We need to strongly support them in their cry out for their legitimate rights, justice, access, inclusiveness to make the world for them a better place to live in. Thus, August 9, the day itself, besides being replete with powerful historical significance and symbolism, also holds a promise and a hope for the future. Our pledge today re-echoes a similar sentiment, the Kranti, which we need to usher in, the rights of the Adivasis and of all people to which we must defend, and above all in the context of Nagasaki, to say no to every form of violence. Yes, we can and we must.